back in the saddle again. How are you, folks? Monday. It's been a while. It's been a long, painful while. How are you, folks? Good to be with you. Joe Matarese later on, second hour. Catch Joe live this weekend, November 17th and 18th at the Comic Strip Live right here in New York City. November 24th, the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey. And Joe's got a 1-hour special, Medicated. It's available on Vimeo. You can stream it, download it. So what the hell's going on, kids? How you been? A lot of shit's gone down. No pun intended. Yeah, I'm in pain. I'm sitting high above courtside. You're like, what do you mean? Well, like I'm sitting on 19 donuts and 2 phone books and 3 pillows. Let me tell you something. Palumbo, look, it might be too early to make this call because, again, the people that had this thing done, this hemorrhoidectomy, most of them called and said you're the best thing they did, blah, blah, blah. And I'm reading most testimonials online say the same thing. But right now, Palumbo is right. I wouldn't do this to Hillary, okay? I wouldn't do this to El Shabaab. This is... I just looked at my underwear, not to get too gross. It looks like the upholstery in JFK's limo right after they yanked him out of there. Just covered in types of matter and blood. Jesus Christ. I tried to use one of my wife's pads. She played net for the Rangers for 2 years. And what? But the pads don't fit. They're like too big. I don't know what the hell she's got going on down there. It's like putting an air mattress. So I just found my oldest pair of Hanes. I keep alternating those out. What a mess. What pain. Never felt anything like it in my life. Oh, my God. It's like people kept asking me, like on Twitter, what's... and the best analogy, again, it's like Rocky's eye around 11, I'd say, against Apollo. When it's all, it's just completely closed almost. And Mickey cuts him. That's the equivalent of moving my bowels. It's like when Mickey cuts that, or whoever does. Instead, you guys watch boxing? You see a fighter, has a gash over his eyelid. You've seen them. They're like, literally an inch open. You can almost see his eyeball through. Just picture that. Instead of the trainer reaching in with a sponge and soapy water, hitting it with a nice handful of stool. I don't know how I'm not going to get an infection. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. My ass smells like a pair of 22-year-old moccasins that you wore only in the summertime. My shorts, they smell like ever get behind a guy at the airport? He's wearing wingtips with no socks. It's like August is the 112% humidity business guy, and he takes those off to go through security. That's my ass. Throw in some onions. And a pound of fresh garlic. But anyways, not the gross show. How are you, kids? This is pretty much what it sounded like at my house since last Monday. They were singing this to me when I left the hospital. They gave me an epidural. Now, you guys probably don't know what that is, but you broads do. They numb me from the waist down to dig into my ass. And what's freaky was I could, when I came to, this is how I know it's some of the worst pain. When I came to, I was still numb from the waist down, which is creepy. You can't wiggle your toes. That's the weirdest, most horrible. I don't know how Stephen Hawking does it, but it's a horrible... Can't feel anything from the waist down. Can't move my legs or anything. Yet I could feel a stinging in my asshole. Can you imagine? Everything else was dead. I said to the nurse, I go, are you shitting me? I go, I can feel it through the epidural. She just smiled. Thought it was funny. Holy Christ. And here's the thing. Your ass contracts. They told me this after. Like when I got home that night, I'd be, I'm trying to sleep and all of a sudden my asshole would start, spasming. And I looked that up and it explained to me that when they do this procedure, they stretch out your asshole. They have to get in there. Could you make this shit up, Modi? Could you make it up? They stretch your ass, and then it contracts. It's like, snapping back into place, and then, holy Christ. And I want to hear from people who've had it done. I'm not exaggerating. I had both my shoulders reconstructed, okay? I've dislocated them, gone back into a football game, had them put back in, had them come out again. This made that look like fucking dandruff. It's your asshole. 866-969-1969. And it's just the whole thing is just friggin' grums. I'm surprised it's even legal in industrialized countries. It's really. And here's the thing. You're sitting there. I went when I got home, went to the bathroom a little bit, about 4 hours after, but that was just liquid and whatever the hell was. By the way, he leaves a plug up in there on purpose, like a big ball of gauze on purpose. You can't even see it, like a magician would pull a fucking rabbit out of a hat. You don't even know. You can feel something horrible. You feel a horrible pressure up there. Remember, Andy, I was asking you, you feel like you have to take a 20-pound dump, you hold it for 2 hours. Yes. It's like that times 10 for like 3 days. And he specifically said, don't pull that out. You let that either fall out on its own or when you go to... Oh, my God. And it did. I don't want to say it was a big plug. It splashed me. My hair, my chest, hit the ceiling in the bathroom. Came out with the force of... Just seems really barbaric in this day and age. And, Colin Quinn asked me about having them lasered off, and I mentioned that to the doctor right before he knocked me out. And he goes, that's almost malpractice today. You can get... Because they used to do that, and it was so bad. If you guys who lived in New York remember a doctor, Dr. Tush, his name was, right away he's above board. That was... You'd see his ads on the subway. And that guy did like 1,000 operations a week, lasering people's asses off. My doctor said for the last few years they've been cleaning up his mess with the fucking laser surgery because there was all kinds of complications and shit. So apparently the only way is to get him out is to dig him out with a clamming knife. That's the way, the way I went. And Jesus Christ. And here's the thing: if you don't keep going to the bathroom, I have to take Metamucil stool softeners on top of that. Because you know why? And get this, folks. If you don't move your bowels on a regular basis, something like, I think it's called stenosis happens. Your asshole can actually close up, so nothing comes out. Yeah. Now, that might be good if you have a blind date with Kevin Spacey. But listen, what kind of talk is that? I hear a little echoing. Do you hear it echoing? No. I can hear myself. No? Okay. Sorry, I actually acknowledged that. Yeah, you get stenosis or something like that. And your asshole will actually stay shut if you don't keep moving your bowels. And they tell you, listen, don't even bother wiping. I go, I don't anyways. I usually just blow dry it and I head outside. But, no, you got to jump right in the tub, which is nice. Then you sit in your own stew. All you need, your 2 celeries and an onion away from making a nice roux. Folks, I don't mean to be gross about this, but there's no other way to explain it. And what's scaring the shit out of me is that I have to head to Massachusetts on Friday. Right now, I'm sitting forward. You can't even see. I have my ass up in the air like a baboon in heat at the zoo. Ever see where their big pink pussies are hanging out? Looks like somebody busted a watermelon in half. I'm sitting forward like that. Sweating through my sheets at night like I have fucking Ebola. Percocet, Metamucil, and then sitz baths. Ever see one of those? It's a little plastic toilet you buy for yourself. It's about 4 inches deep. I don't know what genius came up with this. And you put hot water in it, and you put that with... I know. Everything... Fucking Fiore's loving this. Everything starts like I'm making a New England boiled dinner. Starts with boiling water, fucking cabbage. And then you fill that little thing, and that you put that on the toilet, because just sitting on the toilet, the weight of that makes you want to faint before you even move your bowels. And then when you move your bowels, that doo-doo going by your cut, it's like sticking 2 fingers in a cut and swishing. I can't describe it any fucking... It's like being branded. And how the fuck I'm not going to get infected is beyond me. No antibiotics, the doctor says. I'm like, what am I, a fucking field experiment? You guys will see me on Judge Judy going up against this guy. I'll be sitting there with pus coming out of my eyelids. This guy told me to eat 2 aspirin and an apple. oh, my aching stem. What a toilet humor. Yeah, well, that's where I've been living for the last fucking week. From the toilet to the tub. From the toilet to the tub to the toilet. And my maid from Ecuador, she isn't here to clean it up, so it's starting to build up. I have a sandcastle. But what else did I want to tell you about that? The Percocet's not giving me a buzz or anything, because when you have real pain, that's how it works, I guess. You know, if you take Percocet and you're not in pain, you get a nice buzz. But if you have pain, it does its job, which is... I didn't know that. I thought I was going to get a nice buzz from this shit. Fiore, you ever take Percocet?
Of course.
Oh, have you?
Absolutely.
I know, I'm way behind it on this shit. Is it a nice buzz when you don't have a hatchet wound in your asshole?
No, I've taken them for hangovers.
You what?
I've taken them for hangovers. It's great.
You take Percocet for hangovers. That explains his physique. Right now, it's like I'm looking at Rush Limbaugh in 1981. What the fuck does that even mean? I don't even know.
Yeah, I've taken them for pain and for pleasure.
Yeah, well,
You're right.
I'm taking that, and but that has acetaminophen in it. What is it called?
Yeah, I think that's right.
You can only have so much of that aceta whatever, and it'll fuck up your liver.
Yeah.
So you can only take so much within a 24-hour period. Luckily, the wife knows how to do math. But then again, do I trust her to do the math right? She's like, no, go ahead, have a couple more. Cut to me laying on my own stool at 3 a.m. Kapatata. Change me. But I've been living on pudding, soup, actual food. You have to eat actual food, they said. I said, no, I'm just doing liquid. And they said, no, your asshole's be sealed shut. You have to actually eat and move it on through. This first segment is brought to you by Bloodstool. It's like FanDuel. So, I'm leaning to my left right now. Leaning on my left hip. I wish this was being telecast. I'd show you my underwear. It looks like a Civil War bandage on a guy's head. You know, they always have that with a red dot coming through, and there's mud mixed there and stuff. It's delicious. But it is, it's good to be home, and it better be worth it. It better please, the other thing is when I piss, too, it feels like glass is coming out. That's the other thing, because everything's swollen down there. Your asshole is next to your prostate, which is right next to your bladder. They're all about 1/8 of an inch apart. Everything gets inflamed. Everything pushes against everything else.
Oh, God.
So I drank this. The first day home, I drank like 4 Gatorades, and I pissed like 1/8 of an ounce. So that's building up. Then finally it let loose. And I didn't have a bowel movement for 3 days. I told you when I first got home, I had a little whatever they left up there, and then 3 days without. And I was eating and shit, oatmeal and stuff to try to make it. So eventually the dam broke, like Sunday night. It was unbelievable. Wife opened the bathroom door. I was a foot from the ceiling, off the toilet. It looked like a colon blow commercial on SNL. Really tremendous. Let's go to Bob in Chicago. Bob says he had this done. He liked it so much he did it again, just for fun. Is that true, Bob? Your thoughts?
Hello, Nick. First time in my life I've had XM for 18 years, and it's like I've never called because I've never known anything, but this is exactly, I heard you the night before you had your surgery, and I was afraid to call you to tell you. I would have rather had a wake up in the morning and get a kick in the balls rather than take a dump. It was unbelievable, like someone sticking a knife up me, and it was everything you're describing, and nobody giving you anything. My doc was some old German guy. He just sent me home with nothing. Absolutely nothing. I was unbelievable.
Oh, my God. Really?
Honest to God. No pain pills, no nothing. Just say you got a tough, you'll be okay. Take some aspirin if you feel uncomfortable. I'm like, if I felt uncomfortable, it was. I've had everything. I've had I've had abscesses and teeth inside. Nothing was as painful as this. Nothing.
Who was your doctor? Dr. Michael Ditka?
Oh God, it was Joseph Mengele. He was unbelievable, old German guy, and he just did his work well. No infection, no problem.
You're not Jewish, are you, Bob?
No. No.
Okay.
I'm Italian too, and I love your show. By the way, I love you. It's very funny, but it's like, oh, I wish I didn't know what to tell you. Everyone else was calling up. I'm like, oh my god, he doesn't know what he's into. He doesn't know what
Bob,
he's in for.
I am not exaggerating, am I? As far as when you have to move your bowels, I'd rather it's the most frightening thing. It's like somebody saying, I'm going to brand you every 6 or 8 hours. I'm not exaggerating.
It was like a stiletto going up, and then someone twisted. It was like unbelievable. It was.
Well, that I kind of like.
I've never had that kind of intense immediate, and like I couldn't even go after the first time. I must have held it for 3 days. I didn't even give a damn. I was held it out. It was horrific, and these guys don't even think, they all think it's nothing. And never mind.
My doctor, but you know what, Bob? In fairness to my doctor, he gave me. And I mentioned this on the show, he gave me fair warning, he almost talked me out of it. He goes, listen, everybody I've ever done this to, the following week when they were still in pain, they said, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. How could you do that to me? I would never do it again. He told me all this.
No, right. Wait, that's the bad part. I was going to finish with tell you. My hemorrhoids came back in like 2 years. I've lived them for the last 40 years.
No, Bob, no. Tell me.
Don't tell him that.
Bobby, tell me you're kidding.
I'm not. I wish I was.
Wait a minute. Did you have them cut out or lasered out?
Oh, no, cut out. It's a regular surgical, just like you said, hemorrhoidectomies, exactly. Again, I used to be a dentist. I know a lot about the body and medical and everything. I knew exactly what was going on, but I couldn't believe the intensity of it, the pain. And it was unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable.
They're not supposed to come back, Bob. They're not supposed to come back.
That's what I was saying. That's exactly what I talked about before. They promised me, because I'd lived with them for about a year. Okay, too much itching, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll go through this. And then when they came back, and then nothing else seemed to stop, I said, I will not go through that again. I will not. And never mind. Like I said, I've subsequently had, just what you said, I've torn my rotator cuff. I've torn my bicep off completely. Piece of cake. Wasn't anything. Nothing compared to you're not exaggerating.
I got to be honest. It's very distressing, this first call, hearing that they came back. I mean, that's what I'm counting on not happening. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Now, I was much younger. Ask your doc. Maybe there's a difference at this age. But oh my God.
Well, yeah, I don't deadlift anymore.
Okay.
No, you're probably right.
Oh God.
All right, Bobby.
You go. Thanks, Nick. You're the best.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Now, there's a depressing call. All right, take care. Oh my God, please. If these things fucking come back, I'm telling you.
I'm gonna fucking smash his fucking face in.
That was the fucking... And that's actually another way of putting it. If they did come back, would you do this? Absolutely not. I'd have my wife ice me down and then pull them out with pliers or some shit before I did it this way again. Well, maybe not my wife. Maybe a nice Korean girl at a so-called laundromat on 42nd Street and 8th. You get your shirts done. You get your roids out. You can buy snow tires. Have you been to that place? It's tremendous. Let's go to Guy in Indiana. Guy, welcome to the show and my ass pain. How you doing?
Hi, Nick.
How are you?
I'm calling to cheer you up, buddy, and maybe switch subjects just a little bit to kind of take your mind off this shit. So today I had my orientation, my new job, which is at a large university here in Indiana. I'm not going to say which one. But the hour I spent with this lady, 25 of us, talking about sexual harassment and
yeah, I'm going to get to that. Guy, you're jumping the gun. I get 2 hours to fill. I don't want to... This better end with her pulling your hemorrhoids out.
Well, no shit. But the only thing that kept me awake that whole fucking hour was thinking of you sitting in the back of the bus, back of the room, fucking going, this fucking bitch, and just making comedy fodder. That's what kept me awake. So thank you.
What exactly was... Well, we'll get to it again. I'm going to get to, obviously, a close friend of mine in Hollywood had his day in the barrel this weekend. So we're going to get to that. And also Roy Moore. But apparently, real quick for Guy, apparently all us guys, we're just all rapists waiting to happen. So, and I know that's what this would turn into. But All right, guy. I'm glad that I got you through that and kept you awake.
Hey, dude.
And
Later, man.
I appreciate it. Keep listening. Thank you, fella. Greg in Pennsylvania had the same surgery. Only he said it was a 22-year-old girl who did it at a fraternity party. Is this correct?
Yeah. Funny you say
Greg.
that. Funny you say that. I actually live in Penn State, so that's not.
Oh, Jesus!
But-
Dr. Sandusky. I know his work well.
Like that. Talk about the second mile. Come on. Anyway,
goodness.
I tweeted you a couple times last week. I didn't want to tell you the worst part of it, and you touched on it, the pissing. I come out of my shoes. That
is not as bad as the poping, but it's
man.
right. It's a close second, man.
Well, did you have any wadding in you? They put wadding in me.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Oh my! And
I unraveled the equivalent of, I'd say, 3 Afghans, 2 sweaters,
yes.
and a fucking turtleneck.
And my thing with the pissing, I thought, if I can just move this a little bit, I can piss. So I yanked on this thing because it's going to come out. Oh, my goodness. And it wasn't even halfway out. It was like as long as my arm. And I was just sweating.
You look like a fucking Chinese kite leaving the bathroom.
It was unreal.
Yeah, this guy said, he goes, there's a little plug up in there. He said, but do not pull it out. It will fall out on its own. And you know what? And after the third day, it popped out finally after I was sitting on the toilet. And like I said, it made it splash like somebody dropped a bowling ball in the toilet. I couldn't believe the amount of material he got up there.
Yeah.
If I was lost in the woods, I could have made a jacket for myself.
It's not for the monkeys, for sure. All
Brutal, right? All right. Thanks for sharing that, Greggy.
Later. Yep.
Remember when you called me? You gave me the Jaws line.
What did I say? Go ahead, Fury.
I don't want to tell the whole thing. There you go. I'll be damned if I'm going to cut this thing open and have the Kinder voice.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. I had to do a couple enemas before the hospital, and they want you doing one in the morning, like an hour before you leave your house. And I said I didn't want to fucking do that. My wife's like, why not? I go, I don't want to fucking have that Kittner boy spill out all over the dock like some half-ass autopsy.
I lost it.
That's the you couldn't even get, if I had to do an enema tonight, you couldn't even get the nozzle, you know, and it's as bad as Palumbo. Palumbo caught on. She fucking knew when I was describing it. And I underestimated. I knew it was going to hurt like an MFer, but I really thought I was going to be back at work. Remember? Yeah. I said to you, Fiore, I'm like, no, I'll probably come back on Wednesday. A couple days after the surgery. Are you shitting me? I was in a fetal position crying on my bathroom floor till like Friday night. And let me tell you, folks, I have a fucking high threshold for pain. I mean, I identified as a gay fella for a couple of years. I was in the Navy for a year and a half, and like I said, I was Spacey's intern, and, and I roomed with, what's his name? The gay football player, Sam. I can't. That would have been funny if I could remember his name, but the Percocets kicking the shit out of me. Let's take one more call before we go to break, and we'll get on to more accusations out of Hollywood. 866-969-1969 is the phone number. And Andrew in Oregon. Let's go to Andrew in Oregon. Andrew, what's going on?
What's up, buddy? How you doing today?
I'm doing the show standing up. How you doing?
Oh my God! So I've had chronic hemorrhoids since I was a teenager. Pushed a little too hard, carrying the tuba and marching band.
Carrying the fucking tuba. Oh my God! It must have. Now, how did it feel when your boyfriend was banging you? It must have been even worse.
If it wasn't gay, our balls didn't touch.
This is rape. This is rape.
Go ahead.
Anyways, I've had several surgeries done, and what surgery did they do to you? Did they pack yours when they were done with it, or did they leave it open?
Oh, they sewed it. I have stitches in my ass. My ass looks like fucking
shit.
Yeah, my ass looks like Arturo Gotti's eye in the second
bad.
Mickey Ward fight.
That's bad, man. Like, the worst I've ever had was that they had to shove this gauze stuff up in there after they did like this half moon cut of like half of my sphincter, and
oh Jesus,
yeah, that was it was the worst hemorrhoid that I'd ever had. It was the worst hemorrhoid that this doctor had ever seen. He's been a doctor for like 20 years doing this, and it was like the size of like a large man's thumb, and it was pretty fucking brutal, man. So I understand.
That sounds like a tumor.
I thought it was a tumor.
Yeah.
I freaked out, and I made my my sister come into the bathroom and look at it because nobody else was home, and I thought I shit out my intestine. So,
oh God, help us!
Yeah, it was as a 16-year-old boy that was pretty embarrassing. And then needless to say, she went around and told everybody in the high school, and so everybody walked around slapping my ass for the next 2 weeks until I could get to the doctor.
That's not the worst thing that could happen to you. All right, fella.
No.
I gotta go to break. Thanks for the call.
Buddy. I love you, man.
I got a couple things. I have to throw it to break and have to change my pad. And look what I did to this pillow I'm sitting on. A commemorative George Washington pillow. He's crying blood tears right now. Later on, top of the second hour, Joe Matarese, our buddy, will be in here with me. That's right, the DePaulo Den. He doesn't live that far from here. And when I come back, I wanted to hit on, again, accusations. Obviously, you guys know I'm friends with Louis. And it's so funny. People are so ignorant on Twitter. One guy literally tweeted, fucking DePaulo and Norton. They fucking knew. Fucking comedians are such scumbags. Well, what the fuck? What? Knew what? I knew as much as you fucking did. But obviously I have thoughts on it. And the whole thing, like I said, it's becoming feminist versus man. You're not going to see a male fucking actor, director, producer. They're all going to be replaced by robots anyway, so what the fuck's it matter in the long run, folks? Am I right? 866-969-1969. Sit tight, I will. Discussing my surgery on my ass. And Trent in Canada says I'm whining like a little bitch about this. Oh, let's put on the tough guy from Canada. Hi, Trent. How are you?
Oh, not bad, Nick. Yourself?
I think it's obvious how I am, Trent.
Yeah. No, I called in there before you had your surgery to give you some advice and some encouragement. Just get through this week and you'll be fine. I haven't had any problems with mine coming back, but I was right. I can hear you hollering up here, all the way up here, and I'm in Western Canada. So,
dude, so you, yeah, I mean, to have actual, I am talking about it a lot because, I mean, when you're a comedian, you're obligated. Somebody puts stitches in your asshole and it has nothing to do with a date on Tinder. You have to fucking joke about it.
It's horrible. It truly is. But you don't have to worry about. I don't know. I've never had them back, and I've been to the gym. I raced motocross for years and everything after. So I think it's maybe who you are, but I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I'm not, because if they do come back, seriously, I'll find this doctor. I'll kill him and his wife and his kids.
Well, there you go.
All right, Trent. Thank you, buddy.
All right, bye.
Appreciate it. Well, it's good to get medical advice from a guy whose idol is Don Cherry.
S-S-H-O-L-E, everybody,
S-S-H-O-L-E. Hey, folks, come see me, by the way. I plugged Joe Matarese, but come see me this weekend. This Friday night, Cary Memorial Hall, Lexington, Massachusetts. The following night, November 18th, the Cabot Theater in Beverly, Massachusetts. All my friends and I hope just my friends. Hope the family doesn't wander out to that one. Then December 8th and 9th, I'll be at Helium in Buffalo. And New Year's Eve, December 31st, I'll be at Hot Comedy Club, Yonkers, New York. Hit me up on Twitter at Nick DiPaolo, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And hit me up on Twitter. Let's get those numbers up. I think we're gonna get rid of the Twitter show account. Just push those people over to me. Did you see my nice tweet of me soaking my ass in the toilet? I mean, in the tub. That thing went fucking viral. Can a tweet go viral? No, Nick, it can't. Whatever. Anyways, Let's talk about my buddy Louis, obviously Louis C.K. And I was sad to fucking hear it, but this notion that us comedians who knew him knew everything that was going on. You fucking people on Twitter can be so ignorant. It's fucking frightening. Why would I worked at Chris Rock too. Never heard any of that shit. Heard rumors recently and stuff, but and you know what? Wildly inappropriate. If he did it to anybody, a sister or my mother or my aunt, I'd fucking break his fucking nose. Wildly inappropriate. But that being said, let's not lump him in with Harvey Fierstein and fucking, and Kevin Spacey and fucking whoever else, Roman Polanski. He whipped his dick out, and from the stories I read, first of all, they asked permission. I know that doesn't make it right, but a couple chicks actually stayed and watched it. So, I don't want to hear that you're my equal, ladies. If you're going to fucking say this traumatizes you the rest of your life and you're going to have post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay? You want to serve in the military next to guys at a foxhole, but you see a dick, you're going to be ruined the rest of your life? Let's stop with that. Unless the guy locks the door, and it's an assault, that type of thing, I can see that fucking you up the rest of your life. But for Christ's sake, 25 years ago, this was but a prank at a fraternity. So, the Daily News and the papers in New York literally listing him, it lists fucking Woody Allen, Weinstein, Louis C., You're not being charged with friggin' rape. Okay? Wildly inappropriate, fucking ignorant to do, absolutely, all that shit. But he knows that. Let me make a little prediction, too. Not just saying that because he's my friend. I know Louis in a fucking year or two. Here's the thing when you're a stand-up comedian, especially at his level, and how fucking good he is, you don't need Hollywood. You can go outside of Hollywood. You put on your own live shows. You don't think his fans are going to want to hear what he has to say about all this shit? Whether it's a week from now or fucking 2 years from now? And he'll be brilliantly funny about it, even though it's not funny, and I understand. I'm not defending his fucking horrendous behavior, but I'm just saying, let's not make him out to be, Harvey Weinstein, who's actually being, charged with rape. But that's what happens, isn't it? That's what we do here, especially the left. And let me tell you something else. You know who runs Hollywood and has for the last 25 years? Fucking feminists, okay? You hear all this whining and war against women and all this horse shit. Let me tell you, that's hardly true the last few years in Hollywood. And eventually, I'd say in another 5 years, you're not going to see a straight male in Hollywood doing anything, directing, producing, writing. We all know this shit has been going on forever. Some people say it's the reason Hollywood was created. But it was really bugging me when I see his picture next to all these other scumbags. So it's he'll like I said, because he's a live comic who can perform live. I always think of like Kinnison, how originally Hollywood, he wasn't part of that. He just became so big, like a cult figure on his own. Then Hollywood came to him. I just think it'll blow over. But the two girls that's like, yeah, we were paralyzed. My dick can do a lot of things. I don't know what's going on down there. Is that what happened to Stephen Hawking? Was it a ALS or was he cornered by? I don't know. But here's the thing, ladies. A guy does that. You know what you do? You kick him in the cock and you run out. Or you go, what are you, fucking sick? And you leave. You don't go, career decision. If I leave, he'll be pissed and I won't get that part. If I stay, maybe I don't know. And then all these accusations, these other accusations coming out 10, 15 years later, those are the ones that make me kind of laugh. Not the ones with somebody who's actually assaulted or cornered or raped. I understand that. But I'm saying, now everybody is under suspicion now. Oh, this fucking, this waitresses coming out of the fucking... I spent a week in Hollywood 21 years ago, and Tom Jones looked at me wrong when I was serving him a muffin, and he rubbed against my tit. So let's go after him, and then fucking... I told you it would get bigger than... It would get bigger than, Weinstein, and it has, and it's a perfect who was it? What's the guy, the mayor? Rahm Emanuel, about taking advantage of a crisis. Always take advantage, you know what I mean? It's a perfect thing here. It's a good reason to, douche the system of men that are controlling Hollywood. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to trust anybody to work with anybody. But, if a guy does that, I suggest you fucking... First of all, if a guy asks you to go to his hotel room for anything, I forgot my totes umbrella. Come on up. What? What? Yeah, I forgot my totes umbrella.
That boy is a P.I.G. pig.
I don't know. Line 3 says it's Matarese. I don't know if... Joe?
Hey, Nick, it's me, Joe Matarese. I'm on my way, but I'm coming in on a rickshaw. I got some Vietnamese guy sprinting down 49th and 8th like it's being fucking napalmed. Anyway, I'd just like to request you not take calls when I'm in. I got debt collectors up to my fucking eyeballs, harassing me for $12 I owe on my Amex. But I basically
might be the worst fucking impression I have ever heard. It's like a combination of Dice, the guy from fucking Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh my god.
Anyway, I wanted to chime in on the Louis just real quick, and then I'll get going.
Yeah, go ahead, Joey.
Well, it's just that I offered my wife for Louis to jack off to. Thought it will help me get a cameo in Horace and Pete. But she just kept crying like a fucking jack off. I mean, so much for marital support, right?
What the fuck?
Right, I'm coming in soon. This goop's going fucking crazy. I'll be back in a minute.
I'll see you in a few minutes, Joe. Take care. God, I hope he goes off the fucking Hutchinson. Hits a bridge in Buttman. Oh, my God. That was the most horrendous. I don't know what that was. Combination of Skipper from Gilligan's Island, Dice, little kid in a wheelchair with Jay Leno face. It was a real fucking mess. People like you can send me $150 and for this adorable blanket.
That kid's all over now.
The kid is huge. I called my agent today. I go, hey, Jesus Christ. Look at this kid.
He's on game day.
Yeah, they had him on game day, breaking down a Y2 banana. He goes, that's a spider. That stands for split coverage. And then the little black Ed Sullivan kid stepped in. What are you talking about? Ah, my ass. Let's go to Greg in Texas. Greg, what's happening?
Nothing much, man. Just taking a nice long drive. I was going to bring it up. With Louis C.K.'s thing, it's more or less kind of like a guy who got caught with the dominatrix thing. This whole jacking off thing for him is like a power thing, getting caught and shit. Where these Harvey Weinstein fuckers, they're just getting off on fucking with these women. And I remember this. This is kind of important. Remember when Lena Durham put out in her fucking book how she molested her sister?
Yeah.
Where was Hollywood when that shit happened? The hypocrisy is left. Like fucking one of their own literally molested her sister with incest, and they don't throw her up to the wolves.
No, I know. But as far as what you said about Harvey Weinstein, you're kind of minimizing that. You said he was just doing it to fuck with these broads. No, he was fucking... That's pure. That's the definition of, to me, sexual harassment.
What I mean... I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to put it that way. What I'm saying is, for Louis C.K., it's more or less a mental thing to these women. Whereas these fuckers, like Harvey Weinstein, they're giving into lust and shit. And they're just being dirty little fuckers. I mean, all Louis C.K. can do is make a few jokes about how he likes women watching him and shit like that, go down dark comedy. He's got a career again in a few years, like you were saying.
Well...
Like, at least on his side.
Yeah, but the Harvey Weinstein stuff, to me, is... First of all, he's actually being charged with rape in one of the cases. But to me, that is a textbook definition of sexual harassment. Exactly. I'm going to fire you if you don't suck my dick. And Louis' thing is kind of a voyeur fucking thing, and it's like actually there's like a psychological condition that guys get off. What's that, Greg?
Do you think that Louis' thing seems more like a fetish thing, where you kind of want to get caught?
Yeah. But, well, I don't know if you want. I don't know if you want to get caught. I don't know if you want to get caught, but either way, even if it's a fetish thing, it's definitely, it's like I said, if he did that to my fucking sister, I'd break his face. It's.
Oh, as you should. As you should.
So I'm not trying to defend this, but they're lumping him in with like you said, with the Weinsteins and who knows what else. But no, thanks for the call, Greg.
Kevin Spacey and George Takei tried to hide under like the. Well, I was going to say Kevin Spacey tried to defend himself, saying, I'm gay, trying to throw face and act like he wasn't one of these Harvey Weinstein fuckers. Same with that George Takei guy. Anyways, well, thank you, Nick.
You got it. Thanks for the call, Greg. Well, George Takei was he saying about the Russians? What, Russian bots? What was he saying? Did you read that?
No, I don't.
No? I love the minute I ever asked Fiore, did you read that? Fucking eyes get bigger than saucers.
I didn't read it.
But I have this adorable blanket. $12.95.
I gotta buy that thing, or else I'm going to hell.
Buy what?
I gotta donate. Just the amount of.
We'll do
jokes.
it together. We'll all get blankets like that.
All right.
We'll take our clothes off and just put the blankets around us and go to the SNL rap party. And go, hey, pull this off. And then we'll all be in the paper. We'll be famous too. Again, I read all these stories and I'm a little disappointed in myself. I really wasn't very aggressive when I was single. Again, you got to remember back when I was in my 20s, I'm talking a while ago. You could take a dump on a shrimp tower at a seafood restaurant. Nobody would say boo. It's a joke. A seafood tower, yeah. Frank in New Hampshire has an opinion on Louis C.K. What is it, Frank?
Hello?
Yeah, Frank, you're on. Wake up.
Hello? Hey, finally you're back. You and your ass.
Me and my dirty ass.
I'll tell you. It's unfortunate. Louis, great comedian, great actor. And what's happening today is, that situation. Yeah, okay. He probably, obviously, shouldn't have done it because you can't. You can't. You don't know what anybody's going to do, and people are just waiting to pounce. And like you're saying, they're going to crucify him, and he just has to push forward. And hey, I made a mistake. I'm moving on.
Right.
So it's just too bad because that's the way it is today.
Especially
somebody suing their neighbor or whatever it is. And he's probably very sorry. Hey, look, we make bad decisions every day, whether it's road rage or whatever. But he'll get out of it because he's successful and, he's a decent guy.
He'll get out of it because he's smart. I don't even say get out of it. I mean...
I don't mean get out of it. He'll
survive.
Through it.
He'll survive. But the reason it's such a big deal now and people coming out of the woodworks, and I'll say it again, Hollywood is run, if you guys, I don't know how to explain it to you, but every commercial, every sitcom, every movie, there's a message of female empowerment, whether it's a commercial for State Farm or for fucking dog food. It's an underlying theme in everything. It's the ultra feminists have a big say in Hollywood, and their pussy husbands. I remember reading Bernie Goldberg's book. I think it was Bias. He talked about working in the CBS newsroom or one of the either ABC, CBS newsroom, and he said some of the most powerful anchor men that are on air, guys, people that we watch every night for the news. Their wives were the most ultra feminine, and they would literally fucking threaten their husbands if they didn't talk about certain shit. I used to get so annoyed watching the news, and the last 8 minutes of it was always women's health, and out of 22 minutes of news, every night 8 minutes would be like women's health or issues that didn't mean shit to me. But but
they didn't want to drive home and have to face the wrath of a cold dinner.
No, you're absolutely right. And Hollywood,
sleeping on the couch.
And Hollywood is just come on. There's no. That's where feminism lives and breathes, and
that's what they live for. Is just to go after somebody. But to wrap it up, I'll get off the air. But as far as the ass goes, whatever. Everybody's different in healing, and I was 50 and had to go through a circumcision. Okay.
Why? Convert to Judaism?
Well, I thought about it, but it was too long of a process. They couldn't just give me a hat and a beanie thing. But I had to. 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be fine. It was at least 6 months, and but everybody's different. So you may heal up fine in another couple of weeks, but I don't listen to anybody after going through that. You know.
Yeah, well, that's true, but I want to get to why you were circumcised at 50.
Well, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I had to do it because. Yeah, exactly.
Why?
And I wasn't in a 1975 Lincoln Continental.
Why'd you have to do it?
Because after a while, you can't use it. You can't because of the effects on the actual skin itself. So, doesn't happen to everybody, but. So.
I'm laughing at my producer Fiore. He just tried to do a scissors sound effect. It sounded like he was typing. It was even fucking close. It's like he was a stenographer.
You tell that fuckstick Fiore I know where he lives.
All right, Frank. Family. Well, Frank, thank you for the call. Good luck with your circumcised cock. Enjoy.
It's done. Thank you.
All righty. Take care.
Bye.
At 50, circumcised, because why? Eventually you can't. Just the lint alone, and it's just... If I had a son, that would be the first thing to do to him.
Absolutely.
Okay? Jesus Christ. You want a pastry bag for a dick? Girl goes down on you, she's like, fucking, it's like decorating fucking Fudgy the Whale. What? What the hell kind of talk is that, Nick? I don't know.
That boy is a P.I.G. pig.
Lick it. Let's go to Jay, the Canadian truck driver, wants to talk about Louis and Louis' situation. Jay, your thoughts behind the wheel.
Well, here's the thing. I'm wondering what this all is distracting us from, particularly that Vegas shooter. Did we ever find out anything about that? Or how about Hillary? When's she going to jail?
So what are you saying? Louis is being used as a pawn? Is that what you're saying, really?
Yeah, like the Harvey Weinstein and all that shit. Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? How about the girl that was almost raped in the fucking hotel by Harvey Weinstein? She might give a fuck.
That shit goes on every day. I've worked in places where
So that doesn't make it right, you dumb Canuck. You fucking silly bastard. That doesn't make it right.
Well, it doesn't make it right, but I mean, there's bigger things to worry about than worrying about who put their dick where. I'd like to know who the Vegas shooter was and how he was tied to all.
His name was Christopher Paddock. That's who he was. He was mentally fucking ill, and he snapped. Your thoughts?
I don't buy it.
You don't buy it. All right, you're a conspiracy theorist.
That many guns for that many days and all that? Like, come on.
We're still getting to the bottom of it.
Story.
We'll still. I agree. I agree, Jay. But that doesn't mean some chick who sees Louis' cock can't be scared.
Well, I'd be scared too, but that's another story.
All right, Jay.
But I got to tell you, I'm going to call Sirius XM tomorrow and tell them to change this to the Hemorrhoid Network. Between you, Covino, and Rich, and Jim Norton, you've all got hemorrhoid issues the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but who had them pulled out by the roots? Me.
Yeah, and you're still crying in a fetal position on the bathroom floor.
That's right, Jay. Now go fuck yourself. Take care. See you later.
S-S-H-O-L-E. Everybody. S-S-H-O-L-E.
I didn't know. I don't listen to the other shows, so I don't mean to be piling on the pile. But, yeah. Like I said, I look down at my underwear right now. I think I still should be talking about it. Bleeding like fucking Hillary at Yale in 1968. And what am I saying? She doesn't have a vagina. Let's be honest. Dominic wants to make a good point about all the sexual harassment cases, and they delegitimize the real ones. Is that what you're saying, Dominic?
Exactly, Nick. You got these. I just heard a radio show. The guy's talking to the caller saying it's inappropriate to even comment on a woman's dress. To say she has a nice dress is sexual harassment. And that shit takes away from, these real fucking creeps that are doing these horrendous acts. You know, they're not going to listen to this shit anymore when you got all this bullshit fucking accusations.
Well, yeah, it's like everybody crying rape, and what comes to mind is that girl at Columbia that dragged around the mattress for fucking a year, who put that guy through all that shit and ruined his fucking life when she was full of shit. And yeah, you're right. It waters down the real when girls really are victims of this stuff. There's no doubt about it. But really, if you tell a girl she has a nice dress, it's sexual harassment.
I swear, I'm not going to say which show it was. The guy, he tells the caller, no, that's completely inappropriate. You can't tell a girl that. Like, what culture are we living in now? You can't even ask a girl out on a date? That's sexual harassment?
Well, the culture we're living in is the far left culture. That's what they want. They want a cold, sterile world. They have this fantasy that women are going to run the fucking planet, and it's never going to fucking happen. And you can't legislate the DNA out of fucking men, you just can't. You can make as many rules, but that's exactly right. It's unbelievable now. We keep widening the definitions, whether it's racism, the scope of the definition of racism or misogyny. They keep getting wider, the definition. It used to be, use the N-word, you'd be considered racist. Now, if you disagreed with Obama's policies, you were racist. It keeps expanding, and we're running away from each other in opposite directions. And, and if guys stop paying attention to girls tomorrow, they'd fucking dry up and die. Anyways, thanks for the thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
I want to say you got a really, really great show, and I think it's a very important, relevant show, and you seem to be the only guy doing it, and I hope you keep it up.
Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate the support, guys like you, and spread the word. And again, I give serious credit, and I always bring up Jack Vaughn, but he took notice. And look, fucking Trump won. That does mean something, even though the people on the left don't want to agree with that. Take care, Dom. Let's go to break, shall we? I don't even know if you gave me a signal yet. I wasn't really paying attention. I was getting wrapped up in my own. Was that 2 thumbs up or 2 minutes?
2 thumbs up. Yeah, we've perfect time. Perfect time.
Let's break, and I was going to just ask you. I was just going to ask you if Matt Reese is in the house, but that'll be my den up here in the woods. So I'll check on that. And we come back, hopefully, the very funny, he's a fucking likable, great family guy, and he's a goddamn good comic, Joey Matarese. You can see him this weekend, 17th and 18th at the Comic Strip here in New York City, and the 24th at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey. So we'll be back with Joe right after this. Joe, focus. No pictures, please. Thank you. Seriously, this isn't the fucking podcast now. That's... the giggling you heard, that's the real Joe Matarese, not that fucking hack who came in and butchered him with the worst impression I've ever heard. Some guy tried to do you. Some guy called in.
It was, yeah. I have these haters on the internet that do this impression of me.
Oh my God, this guy wasn't even close.
None of them are. I haven't heard a good. I would love to hear a good version of me, but I haven't yet.
Hey, you can catch Joe at the Strip in New York City this weekend. He didn't want us to plug that for some reason. And but November 24th, the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey. And Joe's 1 hour special, Medicated, is now available to stream and download in Vimeo on demand. And what's going on, Joey boy?
Hey, it's good. It's good to see it. Your wife and I was funny because when I walked in, I had no idea that you had your ass torn open.
Yeah,
and she's just sitting there telling me and showing a pumpkin from your front porch that has a big hole in it. And she goes, "Yeah, look." I told Nick it looks like his asshole, and I'm like, "What is she talking about?" Because I had no idea.
You had no idea I had an operation.
I said, how did I know Nick all these years and he never bitched about hemorrhoids? Like, because you've bitched about everything to me. I would have thought if you had some thing like that ever going on, you would have mentioned it.
No, I don't. I keep that stuff private. But I love she used a visual for pumpkin. That's terrific. Keeps that up. That's what her face is going to look like. She keeps that type of stuff up. I can't. Oh boy, that's hate speech. Yeah, we were talking about. We covered that, but we're not going to go over my ass again. We've done that for a couple of nights. But we were talking about our friend Louie, and only because I know people wanted to talk about it. And, I think, and my theory on it was, again, fucking highly inappropriate and all, and whatever. Mm-hmm. But I just, my whole take was I don't like the way they're lumping them in with the Harvey Weinsteins who are actually being charged with rape and, all the other serious accusations going on in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Well, most of the people I've talked to about it, I don't think are lumping it. They are noticing.
I'm talking about the media.
The media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what matters. That's what this country that's where they get their information.
I know.
I
know.
It's why the Democrat Party's still fucking relevant. But I don't you find that it's a little much? Of course, what he did was highly inappropriate, and fucking, it pissed me off. It was somebody I knew or whatever. But, to put his picture next to Harvey Weinstein's like in the Daily News.
See, that's why I'm not if I when you have a radio show like you're going to read every single article. I read like the one article when it first broke out in the New York Times.
Yeah.
And they never mentioned Harvey Weinstein in that first article. And then
after that. No, you're right.
It might have came out after. And then today, I was like, I wanted to hear what personalities were saying. I know they heard that Mark Maron had to acknowledge it, as you're having to acknowledge it on your first show.
Right.
And I wanted to hear what Mark had to say. And
what did Mark
He got really choked up at one point. And I think you feel the same way, where it's like he's your friend and you're not going to not be. He got choked up when he said, what am I going to not be friends with him anymore? He's my friend. This is when he needs me the most.
So he was choked up.
He got choked up at that part.
About what, though? About what's happened to Louis' career?
No.
Choked up for the girls?
I think more just choked up that it's his friend and he...
Or was he eating something?
He was actually choking. No,
maybe he breathed in when he's having a piece of enchilada. But people are going to have different... Well, but that's funny you bring up Maron, because him and Maron always had differences. Mm-hmm. I mean, they did a whole episode of Louis about it, how they fucking actually hated each other for a long time.
Yeah,
so,
I know that.
But yeah, I mean...
well, he acknowledged that Louis lied to him because this is something that had come in our comedy circles. Right. He said, and it would have moments where it would start to get talked about, and then it would go away,
right,
and then it would come back again. So he said to him, "What is it? What? Tell me the truth here." And he said that Louis said it's nothing, and that never happened. And he never knew names until a week ago.
Right.
Now I know one of the girls that's. It's the one girl comic, Corey something.
Judy Gold.
Corey. I was good friends with her when I lived in L.A., but it was such a long time ago. I'm forgetting her last name for a second.
Rebecca
Corey. There you go. I knew her, and she's a sweet girl. Yeah. I had like a psychological angle on it, and I don't know how you would feel about this.
Go ahead.
My take, and tell me if you think I'm right. I think artists, and you got to look at Louis as one of the best. Okay,
absolutely,
he's a genius.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing comedian.
Yeah.
Now, naturally, comedians, musicians, painters, what do we do in life? We are inward thinkers. We are observing the world. We're not as much living as a person that isn't an observer for a living, right? Now, I find that I would think you're a little disconnected from being like a regular person is. So a person that isn't disconnected, I would think, would get turned on by a girl being present, wanting to be with you, like a girl wants to fuck you. Who is
disconnected.
No, a person that's disconnected would do something.
What do you mean disconnected? You're losing me.
Okay, I'm trying to say like
Louis disconnected with the real world.
I'm saying
on some level?
That I think he has a high level of probably being a little introverted. When you're amazing joke writers, they're listening to you talk, but they're thinking about how they're going to twist your words.
Okay, but how does this get to how does this justify what he did?
Okay, I'm saying a person that isn't a disconnected type person in real life would wanna. Because let's face it, Louis could have had sex with those girls. He could. They're in his room. If he could have flirted, you or I would go.
Yeah, but that takes for hours.
Right.
Come on, folks. Fucking. I'm not sure where you're going with this.
I'm saying, a guy that gets turned on by a girl not
you don't
doing
have to be in
anything.
Show business to fucking do something like this. You don't have to be an artist.
I'm not saying. Well,
some people are saying people like who aren't in the business and who hate Hollywood and thinks it's filled with perverts and stuff. They're saying, see, here's another example where people in Hollywood use mental illness as almost. This is just normal behavior with artists because of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what non-Hollywood types are saying.
I don't think it's a mental. I'm not saying it's.
Well,
it's
it is
like
kind
a
of a condition. It is a condition to whip your dick out in front of strangers that excite you.
Right. Right.
It is a mental condition, but people who aren't in Hollywood saying you're just justifying it. But it's really a mental illness. You're just saying, "Oh, I'm a crazy, introverted comic who disconnected to the world." A lot of people have done that. Famous people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to. I think certain people that are, like I said, they're kind of going inward with their thoughts instead of outward. Could also be turned on by inward, like getting rather be with a hooker than with a girl that wants to have sex with him. Not for the reason that if you have sex with a hooker, you don't have to see her again. So if you cheated on your wife or whatever, that she could just walk away. I'm sure there's some guys out there that's their fetish. They're turned on more by someone not wanting to be with them.
Oh, I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or that they don't even know that you're going sexual. Like I'm reading. He did a lot of masturbating on the phone when a girl didn't even know. Like,
well, so she says.
Yeah. Like I was. You might go, because you're a fag, but like, it was one of the things I never.
I won't do that.
Yeah.
The sound drop will.
Yeah, I was never one of those guys that like the strip clubs for that reason, because I could the girls acting like she's into me. You can tell she's acting. I always when I was younger and I would go to strip clubs before I was in relationships, I'd be like, let's get the fuck out of here and go fuck regular girls. Let's go talk to girls.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to be in here. This is depressing. But there's some guys that are like, oh, this is great. I'm getting lap dances.
Well,
I'm like, what are you?
Those are young, drunk guy. I fucking hated that shit in my late 20s. It's like going to a fucking 4-star restaurant staring at people eating delicious steaks and shit. What the fuck? What am I going to get out of that?
Right.
I don't want to fucking pay and then, you fucking buy a dancer a $22 Diet Coke. You're broke and you have a hard-on when you leave. Fucking. So that shit wore on me real quick.
Right.
You know?
You know what else no one's...
That's when I was introduced to roofies.
You know what no one's really bringing up?
What's that?
And I don't know the reason why no one's really bringing this up.
What?
Don't you think some of it has to connect with he was married at the time and that feels like you're not cheating on your wife? No one's bringing that up. If you're just jerking off in front of a girl from the other side of the room...
Try that on your wife. I wasn't cheating on you.
No, but it's probably...
Oh, you were just yanking it in front of them. Oh, you just shot a lot all over their dress? Oh, I thought you were actually fucking having sex with them.
But maybe that's
what... You just rubbed your balls on their forehead? Oh, for Christ's sake.
But do you think that's why they were girl comedians more than regular girls? Because he knew they wouldn't say anything because they're in his business?
don't know which girls you're talking about. There's 5 of them. Two of them stayed and watched him finish, so I really don't have that much sympathy for them.
But they're all comics.
How about they were getting on?
No one's coming out yet that hasn't been in the comedy business. It wasn't like he's doing this to some girl at a...
No, I know. No, yeah. Then the power thing comes into it, Then he made statements. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jimmy in Manhattan. Jimmy, what's going on?
Hey, Nick, I think it's more like a compartmentalization. I think that, like, you comedians, you break moments down and you comment on them. And sometimes it breaks you away from the context of the situation. Maybe I'm getting too deep in saying it, but, Joe was saying on Twitter about, like, Bill Cosby had Fat Albert. So you have the character compartmentalization. So you can break it down. And it's like, like when I used to look at porn, I used to have these romantic things. You split yourself up. But I think Joe's right. I mean, I thought of that too, that he was trying not to cheat on his wife.
Well, Well, again, that's you guys' definition of not cheating.
Yeah.
And you fucking, no girl's going to agree with that.
No.
Especially my wife.
I'm not saying that that's not cheating. I'm saying that's what the brain, you're talking about the cerebellum. You're not talking about your sane self. You're talking about,
it sounds like a fucking brilliant excuse to get out of shitty behavior.
I think you're right. I agree.
More rationalization than compartmentalization.
I guess I'm just trying to break down the thing. It's just that I just think that it's kind of a split thing. I think if he really looked at the context of what he was doing, I don't think he would have done it. I don't know him. I saw him on in Central Park once, and I felt, man, he looks kind of creepy. And it was him. He was like sweaty, he had sweats on. But I don't know him. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, well, that's a theory.
Well,
yeah, it's just tough. It just you guys break things down. You step back from the situation and you add your irony to it. And we laugh at you. You have to negotiate with your demons. Some come out good and some out don't. You know.
Well, yeah, but there's there's a million comics out there. This is not how it manifests itself when we break down our demons, but yeah, I hear you. We're all different, so all right, Jimmy.
Take care.
Thank you. Yeah. So
it's I don't know all the facts completely either, because you read these things in the article. Like, you'll read one article and they're saying that, like, did he lock the door and make them watch, or did he ask them, is it okay if I pull this out here? Like, how's it negotiated is important in the situation too.
Well, he asked. He even mentioned that in his apology.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was. Yeah, no, his apology was, of course, it wasn't enough for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's just no excusing that behavior. That's all. You can rationalize all you fucking want.
And another thing that I think guys might understand more than girls, maybe there's some women out there that lose control when they get to that level of like horniness. Like, I've been around guys like that have this extreme fucking sexual drive and horniness where you're like, yeah, every guy has that friend. You're like, I'm horny and I want to have sex just like the other guy. But you have that one friend, you're like, dude, this guy, I could name one of the guys I grew up with. I'm like, he's like the fucking horniest guy I've ever been around. Like, ridiculous how much sex he needed, even in his marriage when he got married, how much sex he had to have. It was like extreme. And you kind of do lose yourself when you are that kind of person. So like, his apology, I don't know. It worked for me, because I get like that when you get into that place. I'm sure afterwards he was like, what the fuck? He doesn't seem, he's not deranged, lunatic, scary person. No, he knows that he's embarrassed.
Well, of course.
Yeah, he knows he fucked up.
And we throw the word brilliant around a lot, especially in show business, way too fucking. But that guy is fucking, I've known him forever.
Mm-hmm.
He is brilliant on fucking 60,000 different levels, not just with comedy. Just, when I was doing Horace and Pete and how he handled people and stuff, I'm like, how does he have the wisdom? You would have thought this guy had been directing his whole life. It's creepy how smart some people are.
Right.
But and that same smarts is going to let him rebound in a year or two, I think. And again, he's not you don't have to, when you're a stand-up comic who can perform live, you don't have to be in the Hollywood system to make money. You can go outside it. That's one of the things I find attractive about it, since I've been rejected wholly. And but do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, Kinison wasn't accepted by Hollywood when he first came out, but he became a cult figure. So then they came to him, right?
Right.
We're going to throw you in Rodney Dangerfield's movie. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
As opposed to going on auditions like suckers like you and I.
Right.
And trying to get a part. And fuck, you don't think Louis people are going to come out in droves to hear what he has to say about this? Like Lenny Bruce after he got arrested. Remember? The next year he brought his transcripts on stage. It's when he was starting to go really downhill.
He went downhill.
Yeah, he went fucking. But Louis is going to, in my opinion, will rebound from what I know and how smart he is. And I really, believe he's sorry for all this shit. And I think he will rebound. It's
well, that is the showing of a brilliant artist too. Is that you can take a negative and you can turn it into some sort of brilliant piece of something. I mean, you're going to say, what the fuck are you going to turn that into? I mean, that was the joke that guy who called in was trying.
No, there is plenty to, but you're right.
Yeah.
There's plenty to, again, he's not a fucking convicted rapist now. There'll be plenty to talk about with this.
Well, did they pull the movie altogether? Because it's funny that the movie that was going to be coming out is connected to a guy who's like a Woody Allen.
That's how you know he's doing real art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's him.
Yeah, you know.
Well, that was...
Let's take a call before we go to break. Corey wants to talk to Joe. Corey in L.A.
Is this her?
I don't know.
Hey,
Corey.
Nick, what's going on, my man?
Oh, it's not her.
What's going on, Corey?
Joe, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to come out and say it. I am one of these Joe Mattery haters on the internet. I'm very reasonable. I can talk it out with you. Nick, I love you to death. I do not want to be competitive against you one way. So, Joe, look, here's what I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
Seen bits of your comedy act. I've heard your podcast. I've seen your web series. And all of them, you seem to be presenting the same exact character, this sort of flawed, sad guy, a house husband who has OCD, a lot of problems, and takes pills to compensate. And it really hasn't gotten you anywhere, and yet still you keep going back to the same well of, no, this is me, this is who I am, this is my life. So I'm wondering, why can't you change it up, man? Why can't you try something except for just sad Joe with the pills?
He's changed the medication.
And your problems.
He's changed the dosage.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I mean, I know you're saying I did a 1 hour special that was when I first started medication. The podcast was an 8-year thing that for about 4 years I wasn't on medication at all during that podcast.
But Joe, it's all the same sort of shit. The same sort of character that's overplayed that, quite frankly, hasn't gotten you anywhere, and yet you embrace.
But Corey, let me interject. But he's drawing from his life. What should he become, a cross dresser to change it up? Should he invent a character?
I'll answer that question. He should be more interesting. He should stop getting fucking high all day and think people are going to care.
See, that's what these guys always say.
Okay, if Artie Lang is going out and getting heroin, that's a story he can tell about winding up in a hotel room with some fucking prostitute. Joe gets a prescription from his wife, goes to CVS, fills it, goes home, pops pills, and what? Lays around all day? It's not interesting. Am I wrong, Nick? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I fucking... he's a good comic.
The guest. Okay.
Huh? Well, no, but Corey, maybe all you find funny is extreme things. Like it has to be a guy on heroin, all fucked up who shit his pants in a pig suit.
But, okay.
No?
But then we judge him by his relative success in the industry. There's other comics I don't find funny who have found tremendous success. You know, fucking.
But how do you know? How do you know Joe's success isn't around the corner? Some people plug at the same thing forever. Corey. There've been guys who have stunk forever. Hey,
see,
Corey, can I get Corey, can I get a fucking word in? Rodney Dangerfield, okay, was the same fucking guy forever before he hit. He didn't change. He was still doing that shtick, and it fucking finally caught on. No.
I mean, yes, he had good jokes though.
Okay. All right.
All I'm saying is that, it hasn't gotten you this far. Why not change it up? Why not try and you're going to put this money?
So it depends. What do you define as a success? Are you looking at my resume and you decide what about there isn't it? What is not? I can name a lot of comedians that are a lot less successful. So, I mean, what do you consider? What do you define as a success?
A couple more calls. It's only people who want to attack you, Joe. It's not me. It's the subreddit. It's a living, breathing entity, man. But I'm not. I'm not. You know, just hang up on this guy and let me talk.
All right, Corey. You got your licks in.
Right. I've already figured out that my fan base is not going to be those guys, and those guys. So you live with it. You're right, Nick. I'm being myself. I'm not. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. It says Corey from Los Angeles, and I'm just wondering, can we take the names off the screen so I know he's done? I don't know what his. If he's one of these guys, he's been in LA for the last 30 years and he's judging everybody else and shit, and what's success and what isn't. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're spending all their.
He's skewed too.
They spend most of their time judging instead of doing their own thing. And if you're doing that, how many times have we been around? Who's the comedian that's usually judging in the back of the room? It's usually the least successful guy. Like David, right. I always notice one thing about the great comics. They were never judging the other comedians. They were never going, oh, get this fucking guy off. This guy sucks. Put me. David Tell was never. He was just like, let me go on.
Fuck that little Jew.
He would just go on and do his own thing.
No, exactly right.
You're not worried about fucking everybody else.
Of course not. No, but that's what I hate about comics. They're always worrying about everybody else's business. I've been saying that for 1,000 years. But some people do stink up the room that go on before you.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be on
But
stage.
you're not fucking going to go yell about it to the fucking subreddit world.
Subreddit world?
That's what these guys do.
I don't even know what that is.
They go on Reddit.
All right, I got to go to break.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. And you should stay off it, too.
I
Stay
do.
off fucking Reddit.
I do.
You know? Do what you do. Like I said, fucking Rodney Dangerfield quit. Remember? It was going so bad. He quit. You know, it was a joke. I quit. Give an idea how well I was doing. I was the only one who knew I quit. You know that whole fucking... So whatever. All right,
I'll talk about it when you come back. But
I have a live read to do right now. Are we doing it when? We didn't. Fucking producer.
Yeah, we went over this. Yeah, we'll go to break.
We didn't go over it.
Just like we always do. We'll go to break, and then you'll read it over the bed.
Okay, honey. Let's do that. We'll be back with more Joe Matarese and his fans right after this.
And now, back to the Nick DiPaolo Show on Sirius XM, Faction Talk 103.
Hey, welcome back. Final segment on a Monday night. Real quickly, I want to thank Brendan Lowe, Darren Card, Chris DeVito, Dennis the Grab Bag, and Robert Schleter for contributing to the Nick DiPaolo podcast. If you want to do that, if you want to sign up for the podcast, you go to connectpal.com/Nick, connectpal.com/Nick, $3.99 a month, and you get 5 shows a week. One of them is actually free. And we boil down the 2 hours on this show to an hour, and people are still signing up. And if you want to contribute on top of that, like these guys did, you can. So thank you so much. Talking currently with Joe Matarese, very funny dude, despite some of the callers. And you can catch him November 24th, the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey. And he's got a 1-hour special, Medicated. It's available to stream and download and Vimeo on demand. And you can catch me this Friday night at the Carey Memorial Hall, Lexington, Massachusetts. The following night at the Cabot Theater in Beverly, Massachusetts. And December 8th and 9th, I'll be at Helium in Buffalo. New Year's Eve, Ha Comedy Club in Yonkers, New York. The new Ha Comedy Club, by the way. I wanted to... Go ahead, Joe.
I was just saying the main plug that I wanted to plug was the new podcast that I'm recording with Dr. Keith Abloh.
Well, my producer didn't find that.
It's not. We're recording 8.
Well, tell us about that, man.
Recording 8
I like
episodes.
Keith Abloh, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you got to come on.
I'm gonna, but you always want to, it's like, when? 3 o'clock on a Tuesday. Yeah, I'll drive into the city. The fuck?
You could Skype in. I told you that.
Oh, yeah,
we're doing a couple Skype episodes, but I don't like to do them.
No, don't do that.
We're taping 8 episodes, 4 tomorrow and 4 on Wednesday, and they'll be out in probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's called Stand Up, Lie Down, and they want to follow us on Twitter. We just put a Twitter out called @StandUpLieDown.
Well, there you go. Why didn't you bring that up when Corey was ripping your new asshole?
Well, yeah.
You're doing something different.
He'll say that's the same thing, but it's not. We're interviewing comedians. We're pulling stand-up clips, and we're analyzing them. And they'll go, enough with the analyzing. Enough with the fucking therapy angle. It doesn't work. It only made you $190,000 in 2 years.
Well, no, I know.
They don't know.
If that kid, I don't know where he's from. It says Los Angeles. Could be lying about that. But if he's one of those comics in L.A. and just fucking focuses on everybody else's business, they get skewed in there. You haven't made it, Joe. You don't have a mansion and fucking 8 cars, and that's how you're judged in Los Angeles. You must be doing something wrong.
Exactly. Well, they have the thing because my wife makes more than me, and that was my angle.
She's a fucking doctor, for Christ's sake. Let's go to Kevin in South Jersey. He has an opinion on Matt Reese. Go ahead, Kev.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's happening?
So, I actually saw Joe one time. He did stand up at a family picnic of mine for around a dozen people or so. He did all right there.
This guy's making
also,
this up. You can hang
no, Joe, I'm not. I
did comedy for your family picnic.
A family picnic?
Yeah, South Jersey. Joe, you're fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
All right, Kev.
That guy's hilarious.
All right. Fucking.
You don't think I'd remember? You don't remember?
What a wormy underbelly, huh? Of people out there. This fucking ballless. He doesn't do what you do for a living, but he wants to.
You know who has a great quote is
he doesn't do what you do for a living, but he wants to.
Yeah.
So he has to call up.
Yeah. That's what they think. Writing on the internet is also. They think that's show business.
This country lacks so much character, especially the millennials. I swear to God, I hope they all get cancer and bleed from their filthy fucking asses. You fucking motherless fucks.
You don't want to
fucking snowflakes. You pussies. You fucking faggots.
No, I thought.
Anyways, your thoughts.
The Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl, there's a documentary on the Foo Fighters, and he was saying it took him about a year to mourn the death of Kurt Cobain, and then he started the Foo Fighters, and people had the nerve to contact him and go, "What is this shit? It sounds like Nirvana." And he goes, "You know who was in Nirvana? Me. What the fuck? I'm doing what I do." And he goes, "I don't read anything anymore. You just do your piece of fucking work and you put it out there and you move on." That's why, remember back in the day, actors wouldn't go on the Tonight Show. You always heard, like, what was his problem? Because that was their version of going, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm doing what I want to do, and I don't... what are you listening to? And I don't
Wait a
listen
minute.
to it.
Them going on the Tonight Show is their version of.
Well, guys, you hear like they don't watch the movie they were in.
Right.
They don't do interviews. They don't read reviews. They just do it, and then they do the next thing.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah.
When I go on Twitter, I fucking fast forward through right to the top to the last tweet. I don't fucking read the 19 mentions.
Don't read what they wrote. Gives a shit.
But that's what we are. We've turned into a country of people who don't do. They judge. That's what we've turned into.
I agree.
And there's no more lack of character. I remember when I was in high school playing football, and fucking my coach had pointed, like, practice, he'd point over to, like, these fucking burnouts in the woods, whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, they fucking, you know why they hate you? He goes, you can do what they're doing right now, but they can't do what you're doing. They can't fucking do it. You could go over there and smoke weed and cigarettes and fucking drink. Which I did eventually, right after the game. I'd join in with these kids. I kind of liked them. But I'd play on with my coach. I'd go, yeah, you're right. But they were right. And that's why they hate you. I hate fucking... Envy is the worst of all the 7, whatever the fucks.
That's what I told you. The guys that sit in the back.
And this country is loaded with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are fucking loaded with it. Fucking kids who couldn't... And this business is loaded with people like that. Who couldn't do it in fucking high school. And that's why... they have the Judd Apatows of the world. That's why every fucking jerk-off in his movie is a jock, a white jock, with a football leather jacket on. And that's been going on since the fucking 80s. That's who runs this business.
Nerds.
People who got fucking... Yeah, nerds. And you know what? I'm glad they get the shit kicked out of them as kids. Because when they grew up, they turned out to be real assholes.
Yeah. Well, I said that
Said the better guy in his radio show.
I said that to one of these guys once. And you know what I was talking? I go, you didn't play sports, did you? And he goes, what the fuck's that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
I go, because in sports, if you talk shit out on the fucking field, you might get your ass kicked in the parking lot by 9 guys or just me.
Yeah.
But you're not used to having to answer. Like, that's because that's what they do. Like, there's I saw some interesting documentary also in the BBC about this about trolls, and this girl did a documentary, and she's a model, and how much hate she was getting on the internet. And I'm like, these guys are out. The girl's fucking gorgeous, and they're like, look at your zits, look at you
guys or girls,
both. It was like all these people that were coming at her. It's because they wish they were fucking pretty as you.
As Bill Hicks said, we're a virus with shoes. It's my favorite fucking quote of all time. And fucking, it's an insult to viruses, actually, when you think about it. But, yeah, no, I was gonna get into Roy Moore tonight, because we usually do more politics here, but By the time I fucking tease this story and the phones light up, we'll be saying goodnight. So we'll stick to people that want to punch Joe in the face or who really love him. Aren't you glad you came over, Joe? And I really wish this was I wish I knew more about technology, Facebook Live. I'd pull my underwear off right now and put them right up to the camera, and I'd make half the nation throw up. It really looks like Lincoln's fucking hair about eight hours after the theater shooting. That's what my...
Did they have to shave all your...
Just an open wound.
Did they have to shave all your asshole
No,
there?
they didn't.
No?
No, they used duct tape. They just slapped that... I don't know. I didn't look at my asshole yet. I'm afraid to.
Oh, you can't even tell it's so bloody if there's hair or not?
I can't even tell.
Oh,
I feel
my
stitches.
God.
I feel stitches and shit. It looks like Raggedy Ann dolls fucking...
Are they those dissolvable stitches, or you got to get them taken out?
No, these you have to lick out. You have to either get a prostitute or a very hungry dog. And, yeah, they dissolve, apparently. I don't even know what that means. Where do they go? What are they made of? Pixie stick dust? The fuck? My ass was going to fall out while I'm bowling one night? Ah, they must have dissolved. Fucking somebody's anus is fucking... That's in the gutters. Oh, my God. I don't know. Let's I'll get into Roy Moore. That's, of course, for you political folks who follow this show. You know who he is. He's trying to fill Jeff Sessions' seat. Sessions left to become Attorney General for Trump, and there's a seat in the Senate open. He was the Chief Justice of Alabama. He's the one who put the 10 Commandments in his fucking, in his courtroom, and they wanted him to take him out. And he said, fuck you. He's the guy who took a gun out when he won an election on stage. He had a gun out. And anyways, there's a bunch of women coming out of the woodworks from years ago saying that when they were young that he fucking, he tried to fuck them and want to, lock one of them in a car and stuff. And I actually pulled a clip of the audio of the woman who spoke today. But you know what? We'll do that tomorrow, yeah? Fiore, you call on that, yeah?
Yeah, we don't have enough time now.
We'll talk about that. And the question there is it the Washington Post, a left-wing fucking rag doing a hit job? Or are these legitimate? And, I got to be honest, I heard this woman today. She sounded like a legitimate victim, but again... it all comes out 12 days before the big election and shit. So it's interesting, isn't it? You've been sitting on that story for how long? No, but I voted for Trump and my husband. So again, I don't know. I don't believe anything anymore, especially after how Trump exposed CNN for the lying cocksuckers that they are. I don't especially don't believe the fucking Washington Post, who's the print version of CNN, in my dirty opinion. Let's go to the phones. Mike in Philly's got a question about Joe's prescriptions. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, it's me, Mike from Philly.
All right, take it easy, Mike. Take it easy. Take it easy.
I'm surprised these guys know how to work a phone.
Kevin in Tennessee. Joe, you had mentioned earlier that Louis could have banged these chicks but jerked off instead, and Kevin wants to discuss that. Go ahead, Kev. Say hi to Joe Matarese.
Hey, Joe, just want you to qualify your statement. First of all, being from Tennessee, if you're 32 and you want to go out with a 14-year-old, we call those pedophiles. But as far as
what does that have to do with the Louis?
We're not talking about that's got nothing to do with Louis.
With the Louis conversation, you said that since these girls were in his hotel room, he could have banged them anyway.
No, I said he could have tried to have banged them. Would have been like a normal guy move. Would be like, I got girls in my room. Now I'm gonna. Hey, you want something to drink? You talk to them. You work your fucking magic.
I'm trying to help you, Joe. Check the playback and get ready for that way you can plan for the Twitter onslaught tomorrow. Hey, I understand where you're coming from. I don't think that's what you meant. That's what you said, and I just wanted to give you the heads up on it, brother.
What is he saying that I said?
Thank you, Kevin.
What is he saying that I said, Nick?
You didn't say he could have tried. You said he could have banged these girls. That's what Kevin's saying. Big fucking difference, and I'm sure the planet will stop on its axis once we clear that up. Jesus Christ. And I love Kevin for being a fan of the show, but really? Fucking A.
They just sit there and they
sit
fucking
there
wait for something. Why do they care? They can re-edit it in their own way anyway, so what do they care about?
This is rape! This is rape! You're raping me! This is rape!
That's all I'm going to play every night when I come on. Welcome to the show. This is the news out of Hollywood tonight.
Raping me! This is rape! This is rape! This is rape!
Welcome to Sports Center. This is the news out of the NFL tonight.
You're raping me! This is rape! This is rape! This is rape!
Welcome to TMZ. This is Charlie Sheen on vacation.
Raping me. This is rape. This is rape. This is rape.
That's what I feel like. My asshole feels like I spent 6 months in a jail cell with Terrell Suggs. He was very horny, and I had no say in it. Fucking ass is like a smashed-in pumpkin. Let's go to Larry in Indiana. Larry, say hi to Joe Matarese. Joe's more than happy to come over here tonight, taking a real pounding.
Well, hello, Mr. DePaulo, and hello, Mr. Matarese.
Hi, Larry.
Hi. I must confess, Mr. Matarese, and I apologize for my ignorance, but I don't know a thing about your comedy. But I wonder about the Corey in L.A., if he's going to stop telling Dan Whitney to get her done. There's comedians out there I absolutely cannot stand. It's like it's worse than fingernails on a blackboard, because you can stop fingernails on a blackboard. But they don't need me in their audience. They have their own audience. They have their own success. And there's nothing I can do about their comedy one way or the other, so I just ignore them. And all the other people, the haters out there, they just, well, fuck them. Just absolutely just fuck them. You're doing your thing. You're having success. You're happy. Piss on the bastards. If I may quote my my Aunt Rena, God love her and God bless her and God rest her, just poop on them. Just poop on them. And don't worry about them. I mean, just absolutely.
Just poop on them. Just do this to them, Joe. I don't have it.
Well, if you would think if they had any common sense, they would know that them going out of their way to hate on you is so much effort to do that you would go, why would I want? How could that ever be someone who's going to be a fan?
Well, it shows how empty their fucking lives are.
Yeah, it just shows who they are.
He knows. He's been following you.
And he's going to cut it and retweet it. And, like, just that you did that makes me know.
Here's what I always say.
That you're fucking crazy.
How about this? You're following my career. I'm not following yours. So who's the shithead here?
Right.
That's got me out of many jams. I'll be at Uncle Funny's in fucking Titsville.
Titsville.
Go ahead, Larry.
Well, that's exactly right. The thing about the Internet, they think that it gives them legitimacy that they have 10 followers. When, you know, any jackass that's willing to mutilate himself can get 10 followers. That's not an audience. When you have people who pay money to come out and see you, that's a legitimate audience. When you have thousands of followers or more on the Internet, that's a legitimate following. You have talent, you have your own audience, you have a show. People just think that they deserve an audience. That's the worst thing about the culture these days, is they think they deserve an audience.
Yes.
No one deserves an audience. An audience is something like respect, okay? You earn that. All right, and if you have the ability and the talent to actually earn an audience, just like you earn respect, okay, that's not a gift. You don't get that as a gift. You don't take that as a given, like you deserve respect. No, you don't deserve shit. You only deserve what you earn. So just fuck the rest of the prick bastards.
Hey, Larry, does the Pope deserve an audience?
I don't think the Pope deserves an audience, but he's a damn communist bastard from down below the equator, and he's an out-and-out leftist. And as for your asshole problems, Mr. DePaulo,
yes, sir.
I can sympathize with your asshole problems, but your asshole problems can be fixed, unlike what we're dealing with in the modern political structure. Those fucking assholes can't be fixed, okay? So,
Larry, that was so well put. And I want you to weigh in tomorrow, because I'm going to hit on the Roy Moore thing, because when I read this stuff, and you're a trucker and the Southern, and you follow politics closely, I don't know, this story saying, I wonder what Larry, how he would weigh in on this. And real quick, because I only got a second, but is it a hit piece by the Washington Post? Is this legit? What do you think? All political?
It's clearly a hit piece. The Washington Post, to quote James Carville, was dragging a $100 bill through a trailer park. Dragging a $100 bill through a trailer park. You know, they never know what you're going to find. Well, that's what they did. They had people all over Alabama. The guy that runs Amazon, whatever that jackass's name is, and unlike your asshole, that asshole can't be fixed either. but they were dragging $100 bill through a trailer park.
Right.
And that's what they. And then of course, yes. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm agreeing with you.
Well, and also the right wing. What they call themselves the right wing, all they are is just not as far left as the Democrats, and that's all they are. The rhinos did not want the sitting senator to be defeated in the primary to Roy Moore, and those assholes would rather lose seats than deal with principled conservatives, and that's all you have to know about Judge Roy Moore. God bless him. He's going to win, because I think the people of Alabama in this media environment are way too sophisticated not to recognize a left-wing hit piece from the New York, or rather the Washington media, the Washington Post, that's owned by Amazon. And I don't know why anybody with half a brain would. Well, never mind. I'll save that for tomorrow, Mr.
Save that for tomorrow. We'll get into Bezos tomorrow. All right.
Yeah, and Mr. Matarese, again, I apologize for not knowing your comedy, but being an old white-haired fucker with a phone with training wheels, okay? I don't do the internet, so I apologize for not being familiar.
All right, Larry, take it easy.
I love you, Larry.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
Take care. I have a theory that's... do you remember Randy Credico?
A comic?
Yeah. Real left-wing comic.
I know the name. I never met him.
Funny fucking dude who I love. It sounds just like him. He says he's a truck driver, so still to this day, every time he calls.
Does he call every show? Is he an every show caller? Or?
A lot of shows, but every show. Now the pain is spreading to my hip. I think the infection's going from my ass to my hip. Let's. We only get 3 minutes left. We'll take one more call, and again, go see Joe.
Don't
what?
Tell him about the podcast. That's it.
Okay.
Stand up, lie down. That's it.
Stand up, lie down with
Dr. Keith Abloh,
psychologist Dr. Keith Abloh, who's from Boston.
Psychiatrist, yes.
Psychiatrist.
Coming down from Boston right now, probably.
I think he's great, man. I used to see him on O'Reilly all the time, and he always made sense. He hates these self-entitled little fucking snowflakes.
Yep.
And he's a real common sense guy.
Well, let's see how he deals with comedians and
I'll
straightens
do it.
them out a little
You
bit.
can find a time between 4 and 4:05 on a a.m. on a Wednesday.
We have to come to your fucking toilet.
You got to come to my toilet. What I do with your fucking plugs? What's the place though, Morristown?
Mayo.
You'd have to have my website in front of you. I don't even know the name of it.
It's Mayo Performing Arts Center, my hometown.
There you go. Thanks for weighing in. Appreciate it.
It's the day after Thanksgiving,
November
right?
24th, you got.
November 24th.
Day after Thanksgiving.
Day after Thanksgiving. I'll be laying face down trying to have stuffing removed with a pair of salad tongs by a couple aunt and uncle. I don't know. Do we get time for one more, producer?
Yes, we have exactly 2 minutes.
Exactly 2 minutes. All right, let's go to Josh, line one. Josh, real quick, you're the last caller of the evening. I got to soak my ass.
You're fucking done, you Nazi fuck. You fucking piece of shit. You fucking posted that audio without my fucking consent. I fucking told you, motherfucker. I fucking told you. I fucking warned you. I fucking
Is he talking to you, Joe?
off the air, you fucking piece of shit. And you took personal information from my life and you posted it on fucking YouTube. And I.
Thank you. Another fan.
Was that sound like you pulled that from a movie or something?
I don't know what that was from. Andy, was that from something?
It sounded like somebody in the media or something.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, Joe, thanks a lot. Go see him. He's very fucking funny.
His next special will be called Dunk Tank.
Come see me this Friday night at Cary Memorial Hall, Lexington, Mass. And then this Saturday night, Cabot Theater in Beverly, Mass. New Year's Eve at High Comedy Club in Yonkers. Thank you to all the callers, and I will go rinse my filthy ass. Take care of yourself.